You ever walk into a room and feel like folks already sized you up and decided you weren't worth paying attention to? Maybe they glanced at what you were wearing, heard how you talked, or checked your background real quick and thought, nah, they ain't got it. Oh, I love that feeling. Because see, when people underestimate you, they don't see you as a threat. They don't prepare for you. They don't take you seriously. And that right there, that's an advantage. Let me tell you something. Some of the most powerful people in the world weren't the ones everybody believed in. They weren't the favorites. They weren't the chosen ones. No, they were the ones everybody overlooked. They were too young, too old, too broke, too quiet, too different. And because of that, people wrote them off. But what those doubters didn't realize was this. When you underestimate somebody, you stop paying attention to them. And when you stop paying attention, that's when they rise. Let's talk about sports for a second. You ever watch a game where one team is the clear favorite, everybody's hyping them up, the media is praising them, the commentators are saying, ain't no way they lose this one. And then, out of nowhere, the underdog pulls off an upset. The stadium goes crazy. The world can't believe it. But you know who can believe it? The underdog. Because while everybody else was sleeping on them, they were working. While the favorite team was getting comfortable, they were getting hungry. And that's exactly how life works. See, when people underestimate you, you don't have the pressure of living up to their expectations. You get to move in silence. You get to grind without distractions. And most importantly, you get to control the moment when you prove them all wrong. Now, here's the part most people don't realize. Being underestimated is a gift. It fuels your hustle. It builds resilience. It makes success feel 10 times sweeter. And the best part, you learn to move in a way that catches the world off guard. But you got to understand how to use it. You can't get mad about being doubted. You can't waste time trying to argue with people who already made up their minds about you. No, you got to use that doubt as fuel. Because when people think you're not a threat, they won't see you coming. When they think you don't have what it takes, they let their guard down. And when the moment is right, that's when you strike. Today I'm going to break down why being underestimated is one of the greatest advantages you'll ever have, and how you can use it to turn every doubt, every rejection, and every low expectation into a stepping stone to greatness. By the time we're done, you're going to walk out of here hoping people doubt you, because you'll know exactly how to make them regret it. Number one, people won't see you coming. You ever notice how the quietest person in the room is the one people overlook the most? They assume if you're not the loudest, if you're not showing off, if you ain't flexing your success, then you must not have much going on. Ooh, I love that. Because when people don't see you as a threat, they don't prepare for you. They let their guard down. And that right there, that's where you win. Think about history's greatest upsets. Whether in sports, business, or life, it wasn't always the biggest, the richest, or the strongest that won. It was the one nobody saw coming. Because when folks don't expect much from you, they underestimate your effort. They assume you're not grinding when they're sleeping. They assume you're not strategizing while they're celebrating. They assume you're not watching, learning, and preparing while they're busy being comfortable. And that assumption is their weakness. See, being underestimated doesn't mean you're weak. It means they're blind. And blindness leads to mistakes. Let's take a simple example. Imagine you're in a race, but nobody thinks you're fast. They assume you don't even know how to run properly. While they're laughing and taking their time stretching, you're locked in, focused, waiting for the right moment. Then the gun goes off, boom. While they're still trying to get up to speed, you're already 10 steps ahead. That's how life works. When people count you out, you have the space to sharpen your skills without pressure. You get to perfect your craft without everybody watching your every move. You get to build momentum while they're too busy underestimating you. And when the time is right, you make your move. But see, here's where most people mess up. They get mad about being underestimated instead of using it to their advantage. They waste time arguing with people who doubt them. They try to convince the world they're capable instead of just showing them. They want to be recognized before they've done the work. Stop looking for validation. The best thing you can do when people don't believe in you is let them keep thinking that while you work. Because let me tell you something, the greatest revenge in the world is success. When people expect you to fail, they don't prepare for your success. When they don't prepare for your success, they don't know how to handle it when it happens. And when they don't know how to handle it, you win before they even realize they lost. So don't fight to be seen, don't argue to be respected, don't beg to be believed in. Let them sleep on you. And then, when the time is right, wake them up the only way that matters, by winning. Now here's the next thing you got to understand. Once you realize people don't see you coming, it's time to use that doubt to fuel your hustle. And that's exactly what we're about to talk about next. Number 2, it fuels your hustle. You ever had somebody tell you straight to your face that you wouldn't make it, that you weren't good enough, smart enough, talented enough, or maybe they didn't even say it, but you felt it? The way they overlooked you, the way they never considered you for the opportunity, the way they doubted you before you even got started. Oh, that's fuel. See, most people let doubt break them. They hear someone say, you ain't got what it takes, and they believe it. They shrink. They start second guessing themselves. They think, well, maybe they're right. But let me tell you something. The people who win in life are the ones who take that doubt and turn it into hustle. You ever seen a fire burn? Fire don't start big, it starts small, barely a flicker. But when you add fuel, it grows. It becomes unstoppable. Doubt is fuel. Rejection is fuel. Being ignored, being counted out, being underestimated, it's all fuel. The only question is, are you going to use it? See, when people believe in you, that's great, feels nice, but it don't push you, it don't make you desperate, it don't make you hungry. But when people doubt you, oh, now you got something to prove. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you need to prove yourself to them. Forget them. Their opinion don't pay your bills. Their doubts don't determine your destiny. No, you prove it to yourself. You take every no, every dismissal, every laugh behind your back, and you turn it into work. You study while they sleep. You practice while they party. You grind while they're getting comfortable. And by the time they realize what's happening, it's too late. See, when you hustle with that underdog mentality, you develop something most people never have, an unshakable work ethic. You stop making excuses. You stop waiting for permission. You stop hoping for opportunities and start creating them. Because here's the truth. Success don't care where you came from. It don't care what people said about you. It only cares about what you're willing to do. Now, most folks ain't willing to do the work. That's why they doubt you in the first place. Because they look at themselves and think, man, I couldn't do it, so they probably can't either. That's why you can't take their doubt personally. It ain't about you, it's about them. But when you use their doubt as fuel, when you put in the work, when you refuse to quit, you become undeniable. And when you finally break through, when success starts rolling in, oh, that's when the real fun begins. Because here's the thing about being underestimated. Once you start winning, people don't know how to handle it. They get confused, they get uncomfortable, and that's exactly what we're talking about next. Because pressure, it don't fall on the underdog, it falls on the so-called favorite. And that's where the game really starts. Number 3, pressure. What pressure? You ever notice how people put all this pressure on the ones they expect to win? Oh, they hype them up. They talk about how amazing they are. They build them up like they're untouchable. And you, they don't even mention your name. Good. See, pressure is a funny thing. The higher people put you on a pedestal, the more you got to lose. The bigger the expectations, the heavier the burden. And the moment you start believing your own hype, that's the moment you slip. But when you underestimate it, there ain't no pressure. Nobody's watching your every move. Nobody's waiting for you to fail. Nobody's putting weight on your shoulders. And that's the best position you could ever be in, because now you're free to take risks, free free to learn, to figure it out as you go without the world breathing down your neck. Meanwhile, the so-called favorites are out here sweating bullets. Oh, they can't afford to fail. They can't afford to slip up. They can't afford to take a risk because everybody's watching them. And that's why so many of them fall. See, when people think you're already great, you stop feeling like you got to prove anything. You get comfortable. You get lazy. You start worrying more about keeping your reputation than actually earning it. But you don't have that problem. Because when people don't expect much from you, you ain't got nothing to lose. And that makes you dangerous. Think about it. If you walk into a fight and everybody already crowned your opponent the champion, what happens? They get cocky, they get sloppy, they assume the win is theirs before the fight even starts. And you just sit back, study them, and wait. Then, when the moment is right, boom, you strike. That's how life works. The moment you realize you're playing with house money, the moment you understand that you don't have to impress nobody but yourself, you get to move in a way that the so-called favorites can't. You get to take chances. You get to be bold. You get to play offense while they're too busy trying to protect their image. And by the time they realize you in the game, it's too late. Now, here's the best part. Once you take advantage of this freedom, once you start making moves, once you start getting results, that's when you start to build something most people never develop. Because see, most folks crumble under doubt. Most folks let rejection stop them. Most folks get discouraged when they don't have instant success, but not you, because every time someone doubts you, every time someone underestimates you, every time someone tells you that you ain't got what it takes, it's making you stronger. And that right there, that's called resilience. And resilience is what separates the ones who quit from the ones who make history. And that's exactly what we're talking about next. Because when you've been doubted your whole life, you don't just succeed, you become unstoppable. Number 4, the underdog's armor, resilience. You ever see a fighter take a punch and just smile? Not because it didn't hurt, but because they've been hit so many times before, they already know they can take it. That's resilience. And let me tell you something. When you've been doubted, overlooked, rejected, and underestimated your whole life, you build an armor that most people never develop. You become unshakable. See, most people can't handle failure. The moment they hit a setback, they fold. The moment things don't go their way, they panic. The moment life punches them in the mouth, they start questioning everything. But you already expect the struggle. You already know the road ain't smooth. You already understand that nothing is going to be handed to you. And because of that, when life throws a punch, you don't break, you bounce back. That's why being underestimated is a blessing. Because the world ain't preparing you for comfort. It's preparing you for greatness. Think about it. If everything in life was easy, if success came without struggle, if doors opened without resistance, you wouldn't be ready when the real challenges showed up. But because you've had to fight for every inch, because you've had to work twice as hard for half the recognition, because you've had to keep going when nobody believed in you, you develop something most people never have. Grit. And grit, that's the game changer. Because talent will get you noticed, but grit will keep you in the game. Intelligence will give you an advantage, but grit will make sure you use it. Opportunity might knock on your door once or twice, but grit is what makes sure you're ready when it does. You ever notice how the people who've had everything handed to them fall apart when things get tough? That's because they never built that armor. But the underdogs, the ones who had to prove themselves, the ones who had to fight for every opportunity, the ones who had to work when nobody was clapping for them, they don't break. They adjust. They figure it out. They adapt. They get knocked down, but they don't stay down. Because they know that the only way to truly lose in life is to quit. Now, here's the part that really messes people up. The ones who doubted you, the ones who said you wouldn't make it, they don't expect you to be resilient. They think a little rejection will stop you. They think a few failures will scare you off. They think if they shut enough doors in your face, you'll just give up. But what they don't realize is every no only makes you stronger. Every obstacle only sharpens your skills. Every setback only fuels your hunger. And when you combine resilience with hustle, that's when you become unstoppable, because now you're not just proving them wrong, you're proving yourself right. And that's what we're talking about next. Because when you refuse to quit, when you refuse to accept failure, when you push past every doubt, eventually the world has no choice but to take notice. Number 5, the sweetest victory is self-belief. You ever get to a point where everyone else around you starts to believe in you except for you? They're all cheering you on, telling you how talented you are, how amazing your ideas are, how you've got something special. But inside, you're still wondering if you really have what it takes. That's the moment when the real battle starts. Not with the world, not with the doubters, not with the naysayers, not with the people who don't believe in you. No, the real battle is with the person you see in the mirror. See, here's the thing. The world can doubt you. The world can underestimate you. But the one person you can never afford to doubt is yourself. Most people never reach their full potential because they spend too much time wondering if they're good enough. They wait for someone to give them permission. They wait for someone to tell them it's okay to believe in themselves. But here's the hard truth. Nobody is going to give you permission to win. It's like a race. The starting line is your self-belief. If you're waiting for someone to fire the gun, you'll never start. The only person who can start that race is you. And if you can't believe in yourself, you'll be stuck at the starting line forever, wondering if the finish line is even real. Now, you might be thinking, I've been doubted so many times, how do I trust myself when nobody else does? And that's a fair question. Because let's be honest, when everyone tells you you're not good enough, it's easy to start questioning yourself. But here's the thing, self-belief isn't about having all the answers. It's about trusting yourself to figure it out as you go. You're not going to have it all together from the beginning. You're not going to win every battle. You might not even win the first, second, or third round. But what separates the ones who make it from the ones who don't is this. You got to trust that you get there no matter how long it takes. Because here's the secret. Success doesn't happen when everything's perfect. Success happens when you keep going, even when it looks like everything's falling apart. And when you believe in yourself, even when the world doesn't, you develop something stronger than just success. You develop resilience. You develop an unwavering commitment to your dreams, even if nobody else sees it. But here's the kicker. Once you start believing in yourself, the world starts believing in you too. It's like a magnet. When you show up with that energy, with that self-assurance, with that quiet confidence that no one can shake, people start taking you seriously. They start seeing the potential you've always known was inside of you. They start recognizing that you're not just talking the talk, you're walking it too. But before they can see it, you've got to believe it. You've got to stop waiting for someone else's approval. You've got to stop listening to the noise and trust that you've got everything you need to succeed right inside you. And when you do, that's when everything changes. Because when you believe in yourself, you give yourself permission to take risks, to fail, to learn, and to grow. You give yourself the freedom to go all in on your dreams, and that's when success follows. And the best part, once you believe in yourself, you won't just win, you'll inspire others to do the same. Next up, we're talking about the power of persistence. Because once you believe in yourself, that's when you really start pushing forward no matter what. And that's the game changer. Let's dive into that next. Number 6, persistence is the secret weapon. You ever hear the phrase, it's not how many times you fall, but how many times you get back up? Well, let me tell you something. That's where the magic happens. It's easy to stay motivated when everything is going your way. It's easy to feel fired up when things are falling into place. But the true test of your success comes when you hit that wall. The moment when everything feels impossible, when the doubt creeps in, when you start questioning whether it's even worth it to keep going, that's when most people quit. They give up. They let the failure define them. They walk away, and they miss the moment where greatness is just on the other side of that pain. But you've got persistence. And let me tell you something. Persistence is the secret weapon that nobody sees coming. Because persistence doesn't mean you're the smartest, the most talented, or the luckiest. Persistence doesn't mean you're flawless or that you've got all the answers. Persistence means you're willing to show up every day, even when you don't feel like it. Persistence means you keep pushing forward, even when the world is telling you to quit. Persistence means you do the work, no matter how many setbacks you face, no matter how long it takes. Here's the deal. Life isn't a straight line. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme, and it's not about taking a shortcut. It's a winding, twisting road with a lot of bumps, potholes, and detours. But if you keep walking, if you keep moving forward, you'll eventually get to your destination, one step at a time. And it's those small, consistent steps that matter the most. You've got to stay in the game long enough to see the results. You've got to keep swinging the bat even when the ball seems impossible to hit. You've got to keep trying even when it feels like nothing is working, because persistence is what separates the ones who eventually make it from the ones who never even get started. And here's the kicker. When you keep going, when you refuse to quit, the world starts to notice. They start to see your grit, your determination, your work ethic. They see that you're not just a flash in the pan, you're a force. You're the one who keeps coming back no matter what, and that's the kind of person people want to bet on. But here's the truth. Persistence isn't easy. It's going to test you. It's going to push you to your limits. There are going to be days when you want to throw in the towel, days when you're so tired, so frustrated, so defeated that you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. And on those days, the only thing you need to remember is this. Every step forward is one step closer to your goal. And when you finally break through, when you finally get the success you've been chasing, you look back and realize that all the struggles, all the pain, all the failures, they were part of your journey. They were what made you who you are today. So if you feel like you're stuck, if you feel like you're failing, if you feel like you've hit a wall, don't stop now. Keep going, keep fighting, because persistence is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Next up, we're going to dive into something that will give you the confidence to keep moving forward, the power of focus. Because when you master focus, persistence becomes a whole lot easier. Let's take a look at that next. Number 7, focus, the ultimate superpower. You ever tried to juggle 5 things at once, thinking you're doing great because you're multitasking? You're moving fast, you're checking off a bunch of boxes, but deep down you know you're not giving any of those things your full attention. That's the thing with multitasking. It makes you feel productive, but it doesn't make you effective. Because here's the truth. When you spread yourself too thin, you end up accomplishing less. Let me tell you something right now. Focus is the ultimate superpower. The ability to zero in on what really matters, to block out all the noise, to go all in on the things that will take you where you want to go, that is the secret weapon of successful people. Think about it. The most successful people in the world, the ones who are making a real impact, they're not out here trying to be everything to everybody. They're focused. They understand that success doesn't come from doing 100 things at once. It comes from doing the right thing at the right time with all your energy and attention. The problem is that we live in a world where distractions are everywhere. Social media, emails, messages, deadlines, emergencies, they all fight for our attention. It's so easy to get caught up in the chaos, to get lost in the busyness, and to think that you're moving forward just because you're moving fast. But the truth is, the faster you move without focus, the more likely you are to get off track. That's why focus is everything. It's about taking that one thing you want, that one goal that matters most, and putting everything you've got into it. No distractions, no excuses. When you focus on one thing at a time, you're not just giving it your attention, you're giving it your energy. And when you give something your energy, you're not just working on it, you're investing in it. This doesn't mean you ignore everything else in your life. It doesn't mean you let your relationships or health or other responsibilities fall by the wayside. But what it does mean is that you don't let distractions steal your focus when it's time to do the deep work. Imagine a laser beam. When it's scattered, it doesn't have much power. But when that beam is concentrated, it can cut through steel. That's what focus does. It gives you the power to cut through everything that's holding you back and make real progress. So how do you sharpen that focus? How do you make sure you're not wasting time and energy on things that won't get you closer to your goals? Start by getting clear on what matters most. Ask yourself, what do you really want to achieve? What's your why? And once you've got that clarity, guard your focus like it's the most precious thing you own. Cut out the distractions, block off time to work, and get rid of anything that pulls you away from your purpose. Because here's the thing, when you focus, you give yourself the space to excel. When you concentrate all your efforts on the right tasks, you start to move faster and more efficiently. The results come quicker, and the success is far more sustainable. Now, let's talk about something that ties into focus. The importance of setting boundaries. Because without boundaries, focus is just a dream. Let's dive into that next. Number 8, setting boundaries. Protect your energy. You ever feel like you're always giving, always doing, always saying yes, until one day you realize you got nothing left for yourself? People ask for favors. They want your time, your energy, your attention. And because you want to be a good person, because you want to help, you say yes without thinking twice. But here's the thing. If you don't set boundaries, people will drain you. Boundaries aren't about being selfish. They're about self-care. They're about protecting your energy so you can show up as the best version of yourself. Not just for others, but for you. Now, I know what you're thinking, but I can't say no to people. What will they think of me? Here's the truth. The world will always ask for more from you, and if you keep saying yes, you'll eventually burn out. You'll get tired. You'll lose your focus. You'll stop being productive, and you'll stop being the best version of yourself. But when you set boundaries, you're telling the world, I'm here, I'm willing to give, but I need to take care of me too. Boundaries allow you to say, I'm important too, without feeling guilty. They allow you to protect your time, protect your peace, and protect your energy. And when you do that, you'll find that you're not just a better version of yourself, you're a more effective, more focused, more productive version of yourself. Think about it like this. You can't pour from an empty cup. If you keep giving without refilling yourself, you'll eventually have nothing left to give. But when you establish boundaries, you give yourself the time and space to recharge, to think clearly, and to do the work that matters most. So how do you set these boundaries? First, you need to recognize what's draining you. What tasks, people, or situations suck the life out of you? What are the things that take up your time but don't help you get any closer to your goals? Once you identify them, you've got to get comfortable saying no. Not in a rude or harsh way, but in a way that respects both your time and the other person's need. Because let's face it, when you say yes to everything, you're actually saying no to your own dreams. Setting boundaries is also about managing expectations. If you're constantly letting people think you're available 24/7, they'll take advantage of that. But when you communicate your limits, when you say, hey, I can't take on any more right now, People start to respect that. And guess what? That respect is going to make your relationship stronger because people will understand that you value your time and them enough to set healthy limits. But here's the kicker. Boundaries aren't just for other people. They're for you too. It's about setting boundaries with yourself. Do you let distractions get in the way of your goals? Do you allow procrastination to steal your focus? Do you overcommit to things that aren't in line with your vision? When you set boundaries with yourself, you regain control of your time and energy. And once you protect your energy, you can direct it toward the things that matter most. You'll be more productive, you'll be more focused, you'll be more present in your life and in your work. And when you start living with boundaries in place, that's when you create the space to make real progress. Next, let's talk about something that will help you stick to those boundaries. Discipline, because without discipline, boundaries can be tough to maintain. Let's dive into that next. Number 9, discipline, the backbone of success. Let me tell you something. Motivation is like a cup of coffee. It gets you up and moving. It gives you that rush in the moment, but it wears off. And when it does, you're left with the hard truth. If you don't have discipline, you won't last. Discipline is the real engine behind success. It's the thing that keeps you going when the excitement fades, when the novelty wears off, and when your goals start to seem like distant dreams. It's not about being perfect, and it's not about doing everything right every single time. It's about showing up day after day, even when you don't feel like it, even when it's tough, even when you're tired. See, here's the thing. Dreams don't work unless you do, and to do the work, you need discipline. It's what turns your vision into reality. It's what transforms good intentions into action. It's what gets you from someday to today, and from I wish to I did. Think about it. Every successful person you know, every person you admire, has one thing in common. They have a strong sense of discipline. They don't rely on motivation to get them through the tough days. They don't wait until they feel inspired to take action. They show up, put in the work, and stay consistent, whether they're in the mood or not. Now, I know discipline isn't easy. It's not supposed to be. It's hard to stay committed when there are so many distractions, so many tempting shortcuts, so many moments when your mind tells you you deserve a break. Just take it easy for a while. But if you want to build something great, if you want to reach your full potential, you have to stay committed. Discipline means getting out of bed when you'd rather stay under the covers. It means sticking to the plan when you'd rather just wing it. It means doing the small, unsexy tasks day in and day out that don't immediately pay off, but that add up over time to massive results. And here's the thing. Discipline doesn't come naturally to most people. It's like a muscle. It needs to be built. But once you develop it, it becomes second nature. It's like training for a marathon. At first, it's hard. You want to quit. You think you're never going to make it. But when you push through, when you make discipline a habit, you find that you're not just surviving, you're thriving. So how do you build discipline? It starts with small actions. Set yourself up for success by creating a routine that supports your goals. Break your big goals down into smaller, more manageable tasks. And most importantly, hold yourself accountable, because discipline is about sticking to your plan even when no one's watching. It's about creating systems and habits that make success inevitable, rather than waiting for a burst of motivation to carry you through. And here's the truth. The more disciplined you are, the more freedom you create. Because when you're disciplined in the small things, it leads to big results. You get to a point where your hard work pays off, where the success you've been working for becomes inevitable. You're not just chasing your dreams anymore, you're living them. But there's one more piece to the puzzle. How do you stay disciplined when things get tough? That's what we're going to dive into next, the power of mindset. Because when you cultivate the right mindset, discipline becomes a whole lot easier. Let's explore that next. Number 10, the power of mindset. Master your inner game. There's one thing I've learned, it's this. Your mindset is everything. It doesn't matter how talented you are, how skilled you are, or how much you want success. If your mindset isn't aligned with where you want to go, you'll never get there. You've probably heard the phrase, you can't change the cards you're dealt, but you can change how you play the hand. And that's exactly what mindset is about. It's not about controlling everything that happens to you because you can't. Life will throw curveballs, obstacles, and setbacks your way, no matter who you are. But the one thing you can control is how you respond. Your mindset is your inner compass. It guides how you think, how you act, and ultimately how you succeed. A positive, growth-focused mindset is the difference between letting challenges knock you down and using those challenges to fuel your progress. It's the difference between staying stuck in the same place and breaking through to new levels of success. Let's break this down. Your mindset shapes your reality. If you believe that success is reserved for a lucky few, you'll never put in the effort to reach your goals. If you believe that failure is final, you'll avoid taking risks and playing big. But if you believe that every setback is a setup for a comeback and that every challenge is an opportunity for growth, you'll keep pushing forward no matter what. This is where the power of a growth mindset comes in. People with a growth mindset believe that abilities and intelligence aren't fixed, that they can be developed and improved over time through effort and learning. They embrace challenges as opportunities to learn rather than obstacles to avoid. They understand that success isn't about being perfect, it's about continuously growing and improving. On the flip side, there is a fixed mindset. People with a fixed mindset believe that their qualities and abilities are set in stone. They shy away from challenges because they fear failure will expose their weaknesses. They look at mistakes as confirmation of their limitations rather than opportunities to learn. And as a result, they stay stuck. So, what kind of mindset are you operating with? Are you the person who embraces challenges, learns from mistakes, and views failure as a stepping stone? Or do you avoid challenges, let setbacks define you, and give up when things get tough? Here's the kicker. You can change your mindset at any time. You can decide right now that you're going to stop seeing obstacles as roadblocks and start seeing them as opportunities for growth. You can decide that you're going to embrace discomfort, embrace failure, and embrace the process. You can choose to reframe your thoughts and take control of your inner narrative. Your mindset is a choice, and that choice will determine whether you rise or fall. So how do you shift your mindset? It starts with awareness. Catch yourself when you're thinking negatively or doubting yourself. Then reframe that thought. Instead of thinking, I'll never be able to do this, think, this is tough, but I'll figure it out. Instead of thinking, I failed, so I'm not good enough, think, I failed, but I learned something new and I'm one step closer to success. Because when you master your mindset, you master your life. You'll stop feeling like life is happening to you and start feeling like you're in control of your destiny. Now that you got the mindset to push forward, what's next? Taking action. Because without action, mindset is just talk. In our next session, we'll dive deep into the importance of taking consistent action to turn all of these principles into results. Let's get into it. Your path to unstoppable success. You've heard it all. You've learned the power of stepping outside your limits, the strength of persistence, the superpower of focus, the importance of setting boundaries, the foundation of discipline, and the transformative force of mindset. Now, I want you to understand this. Everything you need to succeed is already inside you, and the tools to unlock it are within your grasp. It starts with embracing challenges. The truth is, the best things in life don't come from staying in your comfort zone. They come from the moments when you push through the fear, when you take the leap into the unknown. You grow when you challenge yourself, when you say, I'm going to do this even if it feels difficult. But you can't stop there. You need persistence. The road to success isn't straight. It's full of bumps and detours. But when you decide that quitting is not an option, when you keep going despite the setbacks, you start to build momentum. You'll discover that the more you keep moving forward, the closer you get to your goal. Next comes the power of focus. In a world filled with distractions, focus becomes your secret weapon. The more you channel your energy towards what truly matters, the quicker you'll see results. And let me tell you this, focus isn't just about working hard, it's about working smart. When you focus on the right things, everything else falls into place. But none of this works unless you set boundaries. You've got to protect your time and your energy. Saying no to the things that drain you is saying yes to the things that feed your soul and your success. When you set clear boundaries, you free yourself to do the things that truly matter. Now, to make it all happen, you need discipline. Discipline is what turns your dreams into reality. It's about showing up when you don't feel like it, doing the hard work and staying consistent. Because success isn't about motivation. It's about sticking to your plan even on the tough days. And finally, your mindset is the foundation. The way you think determines the way you act, and the way you act determines your results. With the right mindset, there is nothing that can stop you. So, here's the call to action. Embrace challenges, be persistent, focus, set your boundaries, build your discipline, master your mindset, and take action. Your future success is waiting, but it's up to you to make it happen. The only question is, will you? The time is now. Get started today.